Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. We're going to pick up right where we left off, basically immediately after leaving the constabulary. Lorna, you and your party are in the main city of Shona, and for the most part, you have free run of the place, but your important contact is in jail under
Yes.
confusing circumstances, it seems. So, what do you want to do?
The first thing Lorna does is turns to the rest of her party, not in like an open walkway or anything, just off to the side after they leave the constabulary. And she's like, "So I put together that there are a couple families at play in this city, right? Like the Garanos run the whole thing, but they're losing favor amongst the people. So a couple other prominent families are coming up to try to take them down. That's at least what Tara and I have put together. Interestingly, one of those families, the Daryths, were the people who brought to Garano's attention this contamination problem in the sewer system before anything else. That feels a little suspect, don't you think?
You and I have different ideas of interesting.
I mean, I wouldn't care at all if it wasn't our job to care, right? Like, so bear with me here.
Anscombe, narrows his eyes a little bit. Yeah, I know that.
Because, but it makes sense, right?
So how does that affect us? Are we... What?
I think we should go to the Daryths and talk to them and see if their story holds up because Lucian doesn't seem to think that one of those families competing for his family's position in the city would go to the lengths of poisoning intentionally the water supply. But it feels awfully convenient that this problem arose. Somehow, Lucian decided to look into it on his own and then is obviously framed for it. Like, did they just capitalize on this unfortunate circumstance or did they make it happen?
By all means, then, lead the way. Do you know where they are?
In the north side of town, on the outskirts.
Okay. Uh, Nora just shrugs and says, then we're with you.
Plus, I can zone of truth, so it'll just be sort of a nice little, hi, did you do this? Or do you think I should play it more subtle than that?
I think a zone of truth would immediately be saying, hey, we think you did something fucky, and now
Well, I mean,
prove
it
you're
could just
not.
be this is just standard, like, and if they choose not to answer, then obviously they've got something to hide.
We're not city officials.
We're being contracted out by the city officials to take care of this.
Have we?
Yes, Harold's in there. Captain Harold said specifically, "We would like your insight on this," which is funny because I'm pretty sure he's getting paid off. So
Maybe
why
we
would he
take...
want me to come to my conclusions? Hmm.
Let's maybe come from an angle that we're not working for the officials.
And we're just a third party looking into it.
I mean, we can be honest about we're working for Lucian to deal with
Oh, then why would
a
they be honest
monster.
if they were part of it? Why would they be honest if they weren't? I get what you're saying. I probably shouldn't come at this aggressively.
From
I
behind
feel
you,
like we should just go ahead.
Tyr says, in my experience, criminals are going to be breaking crime, whether or not, they know it's against the law or not. They're going to do what they like. So,
True. Well, I mean, they're not, it's not like these families are known like crime families or they engage in it openly often or anything like that. It's more like opportunistic. Unless, of course, has been a deliberately orchestrated ploy, in which case, massive amounts of collateral damage for the control of the city. I don't know. So the thing is, I feel like we can also ask the Daryths about the other two families that are also involved. She looks through her notes. What are their names? Velastro and don't tell me. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. Where is it? Aaron Hall. Haha, I did it. Because we don't know anything about those families, and I doubt the law enforcement officials are going to be honest with us because it seems like some of them are being paid.
Lilith speaks up, like she's like seated on like what looks like maybe a half stone bench near the wall, and she says, "I think perhaps we should look at it from the angle of who's profiting from this, because it's
Hmm.
always about self-interest, right? Like
Hmm.
Daryth, Philostro, Aaron Hall. Do we know who they are? Do we
Not at
know?
all.
Okay, well, if we're going to the Daryth place, and how do I wasn't in there, so I don't fucking
The
know.
only reason I picked Daryth out of the three of them is that they brought the attention of the contamination to Lucien's attention in the first place, which means that they would have to back up the fact that it was that this issue was present before Lucien even began inspecting the waterway, which would prove that he wasn't involved because he wasn't down there. Like, they caught him down there conveniently with all of his personal belongings scattered in places that could easily be found.
All right, then we can assume Daryth is like maybe Bannerman or
That's exactly what Lucien said they were.
okay. So if Daryth is on the side of the Gyaranos, or at least they look like it,
Mhm.
then Daryth must either benefit in some way by setting up Lucian, or
Like
they
maybe they'll have higher standing with a newer family that takes over,
legit don't know about what's going on and we're
and they
just
just
doing their
happen to notice
jobs.
it. True, because Lucien is responsible for the northern portion, and the Dareths also just happen to live there. So if they were drawn into this because there's a contamination that they legitimately just noticed, of course they would because they're in the proper area to be affected by it.
So
We should ask.
it could be either way. So
Hmm.
Lilith
Also, we're
stands
just
up and
asking questions.
shrugs, and the rest of your party kind of just gather around and says, "All right, let's head that way, eh?"
And after we talk to them, I imagine it'll be creeping up around the time we're supposed to meet at the clock tower, bell tower, whichever. Then we'll have our full party assembled, and I think then we'll make our way down into the sewers. Fun.
Can't wait for that. Never been in a
Wear your
sewer that was
waterproof
pleasant.
shoes. How
Aye,
often do you go into sewers?
not often. I had to on a
Squid.
free agency a couple times.
Okay, that is believable.
Oh, good. I wanted to make sure I was,
Just creeping in sewers for fun. I would believe that too.
Tiara just blinks, looking at you.
To the north.
Right. The party follows you as you head northwards. Making your way through Shona is, by all definitions, busy. There are lots of people on the streets of Shona, a lot of them on horseback, but a lot of them not. And the traffic of people moving in and out of Shona and between stalls and between buildings, in and out of alleyways, it's dense. And it doesn't have the same feeling as Augur City. Augur City seemed to be almost like separated by district as to what sort of people would be doing what. This is not the case here in Shona. It is crowded, hard to navigate without bumping into people, and your passive perception catches at least 2 times street urchins trying to pick one of your party's pockets.
Do we catch them at least?
Yeah,
Shoo, shoo, shoo.
you manage to avoid actually getting pickpocketed.
Hooray. Lorna has grown as a person.
But it is definitely still, well, annoying how often it is happening. So, that being said, your awareness of your surroundings this reveals to you how different it is from what you're used to. As you're walking, I need you to roll me a D100.
Mm-hmm. 21.
21. A moment. Let's see here. Roll me a D8, please.
6.
6. As you are walking, suddenly the crowd in front of you parts, and there is an enormous clay golem standing 10 feet tall, looming down at all of you. And as you try to go around it, it sidesteps to block you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just walking down like a common street.
Is it blocking other people as well? Like just preventing all traffic?
No,
Just us?
seems like it. And as you can't get around it, it suddenly holds out a slip of parchment.
Okay. Is it a big piece because he's a big guy?
No, it's like a index card sized slip of parchment that he holds out to you.
Can Lorna read it without taking it?
No, it's
Or is
folded.
she gonna-
You'd have to
Oh.
actually take it.
Mage hand. Pluck.
Okay. You slide it out from the golem's fingers.
What does it say?
It says, Bulwark's Magical Crafts and Enchantments. And then it gives you an address.
Actually,
And then it
that's
says,
great.
For the interested adventurer, stop by when you have time. Discounts on the golem.
What? Discount on the golem?
Yeah, that's what it says.
She looks at the golem.
You see that, you didn't notice it at first, but between so this clay golem looks like it's almost made of clay bricks. And in between the bricks, there are these little, flags stuck with toothpicks between the bricks. And each one has a tiny symbol of a gold coin on them.
Oh, are there different values?
No, they all look the same.
Damn. Okay, well, she'll take... Well, she looks the part of there's 6 of us?
Your party
1,
looks at each other yeah.
2, 3. Or
Okay.
she'll make everybody take one. She's
So
not-
everyone gathers a little discount flag.
gets a discount flag. Okay, well, I really wanted to go shopping here anyway, so this will be nice.
You see that on the back of each flag, it says Bulwark's Enchanted Item Emporium. And then it just says 10% on each
Yes! Okay, well, she'll tip her invisible hat to this.
Once you have taken the parchment and flags, the golem, steps to the side, seeming to have completed its task.
That's very good marketing.
I mean, seems like it. As you're walking, Nora
It
says...
seems to be picking out adventurers, too.
Yeah, Nora says, I wonder if it has a means of detecting, magic items on people, or...
It must. It wouldn't bother handing out these things or wasting the time of people who don't have such means. Doesn't want them, can't afford them, that sort of thing.
I bet there's just a gnome piloting it.
Lorna actually looks back at it and squints. Does it look like it's a golem truly, or
A roll investigation.
is it being piloted? 18.
Looks like a genuine golem.
And Lorna knows that's pretty difficult magic.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Because she had a long conversation with Lily about the Sacrarium security measures and the golems and how difficult it was to compile them and things
Yeah.
like that. Huh. So we'll definitely have to check that person out.
You continue. That was your encounter. You found a discount golem.
Exciting.
And as you make your way deeper and farther into Shona, You proceed on away from the gate that you entered, and you notice your party's getting a lot of looks.
Because we're fully kitted.
Yeah, you guys are really geared out, and it's really obvious to everyone that you're a group of adventurers. No one stops you, but you definitely, like, you're turning heads. You also notice that, similar to Shorewatch, you don't really see many people wearing heavy armaments like you are. The most armed people you see are generally around the taverns or the stables, and the biggest weapon that you see aside from what's on your group is you see like daggers and side swords and short swords on people's belts, and that's it. The guards all are well equipped. You see they have shields on their back and halberds and pikes and poleaxes in their hands. But aside from the guards, you seem to be the most heavily equipped anywhere.
Lorna passes out winks when she catches people's eyes.
They aren't received well.
That sounds about right.
Most people just respond like looking at you warily, like expecting you to cause trouble.
That's what I do. They are correct in their assessment.
That being said, at some point, you make your way into the Simmering Markets Plaza, which you've been walking for about 20 minutes at this point, when you enter the actual plaza and you see soldiers. Aurelian soldiers, a lot of them. A lot of them are wearing like brand new, freshly forged, clean armor that is mostly like breastplates or chainmail with like plate armor over pieces of it. You would expect, with your trained eye, they probably are sponsored. Like a noble family has outfitted these troops, and they are being sent off to fight in the war far west. This is not nearby, so you imagine there is likely some sort of maybe profiteering or opportunistic training going on here. The Aurelian Royal Army, being what it is generally they do a lot of their recruiting closer to the border of KO, where things are more apparent. Shona is not actually that close at all. So you think these might be... What's the word I'm looking for? Career soldiers. The sort of nobles that were sent to officer training and are hoping to get glory by
But
going
without
off
actually
to war.
having to be
Correct.
cannon fodder.
And
That's nice for them.
According to your perspectives, the armor all looks a little too polished. The weapons all look a little too clean and unused. You expect a lot of it is about image, less than practical talent. Many of them are clearly wearing riders' leggings, so they're likely trying to become cavalry officers, or they already are, and they're going to go stand behind friendly lines and shout orders without ever actually being in danger. That's what
Living the dream.
That's what Lorna's education and history tells her about these soldiers that she's seeing. So, maybe a little unimpressed.
Definitively.
Which is funny because in that same moment you hear Anscombe say, well, they've got some fancy gear.
Yeah, it's never been broken in before. Probably never will be.
Why do you say that?
Look at them. It's an image.
Well, I keep my stuff clean.
And you actually use it.
Yeah. What makes you
You
so
can
sure they won't?
Oh, we can talk about this at length if you want to, but I don't feel like lingering.
No,
They might think we're up to no good.
Anscombe just looks confused, but he keeps following you.
That's okay, big guy.
Okay. Just seems like a lot of effort to put it all on if you're never...
but it's less effort than actually fighting and dying.
I get. Well, why would you buy the armor if you're not going to fight?
In case.
It's expensive. Like,
It looks
yeah.
nice. Weren't you impressed?
Well, yeah. That sort of steel
See?
is expensive.
That's the whole point.
I see.
Mhm.
All right. Anscombe kind of like self-consciously looks at his own plate armor that he's wearing, which is
You look great.
it's polished, but it's also very dinged up and
Mhm. You can't
dented.
polish out dents and scratches that you earned.
Earned is a way to
You
put it.
shouldn't feel self-conscious compared to them.
Well, maybe I want to look nice, okay? Maybe it'll
You
be...
look so nice.
You're supposed to say it. Hey, Nori! And Nori like, what? Do I look nice? Yeah, great. No, I
See?
mean, like, yeah, compared to them. And Nori, like, looks up from what she had, like, one of her songbooks open, and she was, like, writing down notes and looks up at the career soldiers. Don't worry about them.
See?
Okay, I guess. But that doesn't answer my question.
She said yes.
Nori shuts the book and looks at you, Lorna, and then back at Anscombe. Convince your man.
I have been trying.
Oh, you're doing great.
Lorna looks at Anscombe. Truly, you are the most ravaging individual in this plaza.
Now you're full of shit.
I mean it. Do you want me to prove it?
What is that? What?
You know what it means.
No, I don't.
Ugh.
I think you have to prove it.
What's that tear?
Yes.
Lorna just gives him a look. I will prove it very soon, but we do have a conversation that we need to have.
Oh,
with some
she's
people.
getting shy. Look at that.
Shut up. Shut your face.
Nora just like shakes her head and opens her book again.
Lorna looks incredibly shy.
It's the first time I've agreed with that idiot in a while.
Well, come on.
You refuse to be peer pressured, and as you make your way through the plaza beyond the other side of the simmering market square, it's hot, but it is not overwhelming. It seems as though there are many awnings and silken canvases that are laying out over the street high above that manages to create just enough shade that even though it's overly crowded, it's actually fairly pleasant to walk through here. You're also making your way along this man-made waterway that runs through the middle of the city. And it's kind of sending up this pleasant mist that is constantly just cooling everybody off. And you don't know if that's intentional or not, but it is the way of things. And it makes things feel very refreshed as you're making your way through Shona. I need you to roll me another D100, please. 49.
Isn't that what sour rolled to get the boiling blood or something?
Something like
Pretty
that.
sure it was.
Okay, let's see. What languages do you speak?
Oh gosh. Common, Draconic, Elvish, Infernal, and Undercommon.
You see.
And I could read any language because of Vicar.
Well, it's an undercommon.
Oh, okay.
Strung between a pair of buildings over an alley, you see there is a clothesline. And laundry is hung from that clothesline in a particular way. It is hung in such a way that it spells out a word. As you look past it, you see there's more laundry that spills out another word. And as you look at them, you realize it says a message in Undercommon. The message says 11 o'clock fireplace. But fireplace is spelled weird. It's spelled Fyreplace.
Okay. Lorna just brow furrows. Does anybody else see that?
Well,
Those words on those pieces of laundry.
it looks like somebody's hung their laundry really lazy.
No, it spells out a message. 11 o'clock fireplace, but fire is spelled wrong.
What language is that?
Undercommon. You know, my native language.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I don't speak Undercommon. Does anybody else speak Undercommon? And everyone on the party's like, no.
Okay. Is there a place
I bet Skunla
called...
would.
Oh, I bet she would. Oh, that's a good idea. I should ask. Shit. We don't meet her until noon, and this says 11 o'clock. But it could mean night.
Do you see a PM?
It does not say, just like the note that potentially conscientious guard gave us. Nobody believes in
What are
signifying.
you talking about?
Oh, ugh. While Tierra and I were in there, our guard slipped us a note saying, meet us at something at 2 o'clock. Where was it? Rookery Crossing, 2 o'clock. I should definitely mention that to all of you now.
Probably.
A guard seems to want to talk to us. The thing is, it could either be a guard with a conscience who's going to spill about the corruption in the law enforcement here, or it's the law enforcement trying to prevent us from proving that they are corrupt and trying to kill us.
If you think it's an ambush, they might as well try. They're gonna, learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm. I just think we should go in prepared, if we're going at all. I imagine we should, because if it's someone saying, yeah, they're being bought out, that just helps our case.
I agree. That works for me as well. Betrayal is very interesting for a story.
Is it a betrayal if we expect it?
Not us. It doesn't betray us.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Right. The Gira knows. So, what about this note? She gestures to the laundry. I know it has nothing to do with us, but isn't that a little curious?
Your whole party kind of shrugs as a group.
We should just find out if there's a place around here called the Fireplace, but it's spelled with a Y.
Yeah. I mean, something's happening at 11 o'clock, or something will have happened at 11 o'clock by the time we get there.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going there.
If. I just wish we could have met Skolna before it potentially happens. Unless it happens at 11 p.m., we'll deal with that then. Because, and she would be here to tell me that this is a stupid idea. I like it when she does that, because then I don't do something stupid.
Oh, I could tell you if something's a stupid idea.
Is this the stupid idea?
There's not enough information yet.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep my eyes out for any signs on the way to the Daryths.
A place called the Fireplace. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Your party all kind of just agrees with you as you continue moving, and that was what you rolled, is seeing that message. As you continue on through the city. Eventually, you get beyond the Silver Bridge area and get out of North Chaoten Village. And you find yourself at another city gate, though this one is much smaller. It doesn't look like a main trade gate like the one you went through before. This one seems to separate what looks like the industrial, commercial district of Shona from houses, a residential area. And beyond that, you see lots of guards looming about, but they are not inspecting you. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of standing guard, doing their beat. And as you head out here, Tierra says, all right, do we know where we're going?
No, we should probably ask one of them.
It might be wise.
Excuse me.
One of the guards kind of like looking bored, leaning up against a wall. Yeah?
Could you point us in the direction of the Daryths?
Why?
We have some business to conduct.
Do they know you're coming?
They do not. Do we
Uh,
need to announce ourselves?
well, it might be wise if you don't want to get turned away, but...
I think they'll want to talk to us.
Well, good luck then. They run the biggest stables north of town. If you follow the street, maybe mile and a half, you can't miss it.
Okay. I have one more question.
Yep.
Is there a place around town called the Fireplace? But with a Y?
Yeah.
Oh, could you tell me where that is too?
He like looks back the way you came.
Oh, did we
It's-
pass it?
It's the forge and smithy off the main road. They have a big warehouse. It's famous because it's run by a fire genasi.
Ooh. That's cool. Is it, good business? Ever gone there before?
It's a little steep for my blood.
Oh, they make nice things.
They contract a lot for House Daryth.
Interesting. Good to know. You've been very helpful, thank you.
You're welcome. And he just like leans back against the wall.
Ta-ta!
Travel safe.
I'm putting the gif where that guy says, coincidence, I think not, into my notes.
You do that. By all means,
It's
everything.
all coming back to Daryth,
Everything's a
man.
conspiracy.
I'm following the paper trail.
Yep.
She will follow the directions that lead to House Daryth.
Okay. Eventually, it doesn't take too long. I'm actually going to move you to the city map so you can see
Whee!
where I'm referencing and where you
I
guys
spelled
are.
Chaotin right in my notes. Woohoo!
Well done. Okay.
This does help.
Okay. So. As you get outside the main city proper into this residential area, House Daryth is... It can be described as a large, sturdily built manor that seems to have just been expanded into an enormous stable. And as you're approaching, you hear the sounds of training. As you get closer, let's see here. Just outside the northeastern edge of Shona, which, aside from the residences, once you get past that, it turns into rolling fields marked by stone fences, horse tracks, and large swaths of, well, dead grass and pounded dirt. It's like the whole area out here looks like it's just been run over by horses in all directions. Looks like
Probably has been.
Probably has been. You see there is a large training yard, and you can hear drills and orders echo all over the place. And then off this road that you're walking on, there's a wide wooden gate emblazoned with a crest, a rearing horse before a sunlit field. You assume this is the Daryth crest.
Mm-hmm.
Looking over it, you see there are rows of armored men that are practicing what look like shield formations. You see there is an older man in front of all of them. He's got cropped gray hair and a black and gold sash across his chest, which you don't know what the standard is for the Aurelian army, but you imagine that's a fairly high rank.
Mhm.
And then you see that across from him, there is another, like a smaller group of soldiers that are running sword drills, and they are being led by a younger looking man who looks either like the brother or maybe the son of the first guy. You appear to have found House Daryth, and these
Mhm.
two individuals, they
Seem to have some sort of authority here.
they stand with the posture of nobility, even though they look like they're
Mhm.
commanding soldiers.
Uh, is the older one actively communicating? Like, is he shouting orders or is he observing?
No, he's giving commands. It looks like he's telling these soldiers what to do, and they seem to be following.
What about the younger one? She wants to pick the one that she's not rudely interrupting the most.
Well, so you enter like this training yard basically next to the stables.
Roll up.
Uh,
I guess we'll catch their attention anyways.
yeah, as you walk in, the first one says, "If you're looking to ask questions, girl, find Terrace. We're training men to die with honor. We've no time for couriers or coin collectors." The younger one, like, looks at the first one, and then turns back to you and says, "Apologies. I've heard of your arrival. You are of the Merigard, yes?
Wow, our reputation precedes us.
You are covered in their sigil.
True.
The Ferum's finest paid blades, after all. Terrace!" And you see, like, this half-elf male, who's carrying a scroll case and an iron, like, signet rod, has turned from what looks like a wooden table that's covered with paperwork. He turns to see, and this individual says, "See to our guest. I'm sure she has many questions. We
I
have our own
do.
duties."
Mm-hmm.
And the half-elf nods, who appears to be named Terrace. And when he arrives, he gives a slight half bow, and he says, "Lady of the Merigard, Lord Owen regrets he cannot grant audience at this time."
Oh,
He, like,
too bad.
glances at the old man that yelled at you, basically. "Our stables are full, our wagons half supplied, and our knights march in 4 days' time. As you see, House Daryth is at full gallop.
I
But
see that.
I am pleased to answer whatever I can. How can we help you?"
Well, we seem to have found ourselves in the midst of an investigation.
"An investigation?
That's right.
On whose behalf?"
Third party interests, really. A little bit outside the scope of law enforcement, but I think we are pretty committed to finding the truth of the matter. And
Very
that is
well.
what's happening to the water supply here.
Perhaps we should have a conversation less directly away from the shouted orders of the training men. And he
Certainly.
gestures for you to, like, come towards the stable where it's quieter.
Did he seem surprised by that, or worried, or unbothered?
Roll an insight.
Oh, it was teetered off an 18 to a 5, so 16. Which isn't terrible, but it's not 30 something.
Okay, so with a 16, it's clear he's been instructed on how to react to questions on this nature. So he doesn't look surprised, but he kind of has this look on his face like, right, here we go. Like,
They're here.
yeah. That doesn't immediately spark suspicion, but it's clear that he's heard of it before.
Did Tier notice anything?
Nothing more than you did.
Heck. All right.
Well, and as he like pulls you over towards the side of the stable, um, he gestures for you to sit down at this broad table. Um, Before your questions, can I offer you a refreshment? Drink, perhaps something to eat?
Well, she'll look at the rest of the party. How are they looking? Do they look intrigued by the offer?
No? No one seems to be particularly interested.
I think we're all right.
Very well.
Well, thank you very
If you
much.
don't mind, I will. And he
By all means.
goes to like the wall and he pulls out like a pitcher where he pours himself a glass of something. And then he sits down at the table with you.
Mhm.
Right. How can. Let's see. How can the House Daryth be of service during this investigation?
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with the Girano family.
We are their banner lords, so we are quite familiar. We are generally
Mhm.
acting on their behalf.
We were made aware very recently that there may be an issue with the water supply, particularly in the northern part of the city and the surrounding area, and that it was brought to the youngest Girano's attention by House Daryth. Is that true?
Yes, Lord Morel did notify Lord Lucian, out of concern, naturally. As
Mhm.
banner lords, our duty is to report. No more, no less. What the young Girano chose to do with that information is not for House Daryth to answer for.
Certainly not. I was just wondering what it was that made concern happen in the first place. What was noticed, and where, and
Well,
when.
from what I understand, some of our mounts were falling ill. And the veterinarians who attempted to try and sort out the problem noticed that they were being poisoned. And so, Lord Morel instructed that we investigate the matter, and a few of our men-at-arms managed to come across toxic residue near the northern well. You can still find it. It is maybe 50 yards north of the rear of the stable here. It is generally the well that we use to water the horses, and it is connected directly to the undertunnels of northern Kao. And if the water coming out of that was toxic, particularly to our mounts, there must have been some sort of contaminant or taint going on.
Mhm.
The men-at-arms decided to try and look into it to see. They received a permit to go into the undertunnels. They found this soil-like residue in the water near the bottom of the well. They didn't know what it was, but it was not like the typical silt that generally finds its way into the water there. So, we brought it to Lord Lucian's attention, as it is his
Mhm.
responsibility to handle the hydrology and logistics of this region of the city.
Mhm. That's excellent information, thank you. Would we be able to look at this well and this residue?
You can. The well is, well, it's blocked at the moment. We boarded it off until the situation was resolved, but you can look.
Mhm.
I and he like reaches toward his belt and he realizes I don't have the key, but I will get the caretaker to escort you so you can get into it.
I'd appreciate that.
Is there anything else?
Um, yes, this might seem a little unrelated, but I promise you it is. We are not from Shona. None of us are.
I
So
can tell.
the climate, the political climate specifically, is not something we're very privy to.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell me a little bit about shit, Velostro and Aaron Hall?
House Daryth has always respected the contributions of both Velostro and Aaron. We may disagree on certain matters of stewardship, but their role in Shona's future is not ours to define.
Very measured. Can I insight? Does he seem to have like an opinion he himself maybe trying to withhold in the sake of coached politeness?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an insight check.
Dirty 20.
He's very guarded. You could probably press him for more questions on this. You might have to ask more specific ones.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to level with you. Lucien Guérinot has been implicated in the matter of the contamination because of a series of events. And we are trying to look into the matter to see if he is in fact responsible or if something more nefarious is at work here.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Okay. 18.
That is a serious charge, miss. One that a steward in my position could not entertain lightly, even if he were to suspect the same. Lord Lucian has always been spirited, but foolishness is not the same as malice.
Mm-hmm.
If he were truly guilty, one might expect clearer evidence, cleaner motives.
Precisely.
But things remain oddly untidy, don't they?
They sure do.
If you mean to pursue this matter, tread carefully. You might find fewer friends than you expect, and fewer enemies who would be willing to show their faces.
I anticipated something like that.
Well, I cannot say what the House Lords might suspect. But I will say, Lord Morel was displeased by Lucian's increasing attention to the northern districts, said he was stirring dust where none needed stirring. Perhaps you'll find some of that dust is still unsettled.
Mirel Daryth
Mm-hmm.
was upset that his region was gaining attention.
Yes.
That only sounds like attention means benefit. Or am I incorrect?
It is our duty, as their bannerlords, to handle things in one way. And should they see things handled a way they would prefer, our hands are taken off of the project, so they say.
Hmm. That is interesting. And I imagine you have no opinion at all on the matter.
None whatsoever.
Hmm. We'll still be able to look at that well, though?
Oh, yes. A moment. Wait here while I fetch the caretaker. And Terrace stands, gives you a slight bow, and he heads towards the keep.
Lorna looks at her party. What do you make of that?
It sounds like hands are tied,
Mm-hmm.
particularly on what they observe and what they might actually think. But perhaps these Daryth folk know more than they can say, but they're trying to keep a tight lip so as to avoid implicating themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
don't
I'm
think...
assuming Morel is the older one. No.
I don't know.
I'm just assuming, let's assume, that if the younger Guérinot decided to be more proactive and hands-on and did things in a way that the older Daryth didn't prefer, that he would be willing to back perhaps a different family that might let him see to his business the way he likes to.
Guess could be that way. If they made some sort of promise to them that if the Guérinots get, shucked to the side, the Daryths might directly benefit.
Mm-hmm.
I hate politics.
I know. Makes things much more complicated, but
What are we hoping to find down this well?
the substance, we can compare it if we find it in the city works, the city proper when we go down there. If it's the same substance, then we know it's obviously spread far enough to be the problem. I, this might be the ground zero where it was introduced. We don't know. If it was done deliberately as opposed to just naturally by the Hydra itself.
I see. So you're looking to see if it was planted or if it was naturally proliferated?
Because this is the furthest point north that it was reported being a problem,
Mm-hmm.
which means everything goes downriver.
So, if they found it here, anything down south, it could have started here or it could come from farther.
True, or if we, I mean, obviously we're going to find it here because it's reported to be here, but we could check further up north to see if there's any signs of it. Because if it's coming from even further up north, then we know that it's likely natural.
All
Oh
right.
no. We'll look at the well first. See what we can see. God, I wish Skolna was here.
You sent her
I mean,
off to do another thing.
I'm a good investigator. Yeah, that'll be useful too for a different project. But I'm a good investigator, but she's a hell of a good investigator.
You just gotta, put your mind
Get in the
of a
mindset.
criminal, right? So
I need to think about how to kill each and every one of you, just in case.
why?
Just in case.
No,
I'm getting in Skolna's mindset.
she thinks about that.
No, that's just my speculation. Please don't quote me on that.
That's terrifying.
The guy says who's being actively romanced by her.
If any of us was to consider that sort of thing, she's certainly the one that could pull it off.
Okay.
You see the noble, the steward, Terrace, is returning, and you see behind him is a halfling who looks older in her years, kind of has some like dirty blonde hair, wearing leathers, and she has what looks like a ring of keys in her hand as she's approaching. Tara says, mercenaries of the Marigard, this is Marigold Hallwither. She is
Hello.
our caretaker here. And Marigold just kind of tips her head. My lords. And Tara says, no, not necessary. They are not another noble house. They are...
Nope, just humble mercenaries.
Anyway, Marigold, if you wouldn't mind escorting them to the well and allowing them access. And Marigold just kind of quietly nods, and just waits for instruction, basically.
Please lead the way.
Marigold nods and begins heading straight toward the far side of the stable, and Terrace sits back down at the table. I have matters to attend to, but should you finish your work in the well, I'll be waiting here.
Thank you.
And the caretaker leads the way. As you're making your way towards the well, you see you're rounding the stable, which is full of horses, which I don't think Lorna has a lot of experience, around horses, but these seem like purebred, crazy expensive horses. All of them
Special fancy pants horses.
Yeah,
My
all of them are
Requiem
very
horse
well
is
groomed.
far superior in every way. Mine's dead.
Yep, it sure is.
Mhm.
You make your way around, and as you get to the far side of the stable, the well is, as described, has a wooden block locking the top of it. And the halfling caretaker gets next to the well, and she begins to unlock it. She looks at all of you. This is everything, my lord and ladies.
I did have just a couple questions if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. And the caretaker, she seems very nervous.
She's like, fuck. Please don't be too nervous. We're just trying to figure out what's wrong with the water.
It's not safe to drink.
Precisely. We want to know why and where it's coming from. Other than this well, Have you noticed anything strange?
Roll a persuasion check.
Yeah, she knows something. Natural 19 for a 28. Lorna is like as amicable and friendly and as calming as she possibly can be.
A strange sort of blight's been catching in the northern gardens, far side of the estate. It's nothing like I'd seen before, but I read about it from swamps.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense that it's here. They call it blight rot.
Blight rot.
Flowers grow these nasty little pustules that poison them from the inside and they die.
So you've read about it before.
Well, when I found them on the flowers, I had to find out what was happening so as I could take care of it. The cure is sulfur. Burning it with sulfur smoke.
Okay.
But sometimes that kills the flowers too, so it's been a rough few weeks.
Right. And this book that you read, or whatever your source material was, did it say what usually causes it? You said it was
It's from
tended to be in swamps.
swampland. They say it happens whenever there's lots of necrosis in the air, around battlefields or corpses dying, rotten. It's weird that it's happening here where there's no one dead.
Right. There is a war going on.
It's not close by.
That's the troubling thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nobody's dying. No one's gone missing that I know of. I've been paying attention.
Right.
The news sheets would report it, wouldn't they? People were missing.
You'd think that would make sense.
It's been quiet. The biggest story was about the Goldenrod Vault being stolen from last week.
What was that?
It's a big vault in the center of town. Some thieves broke into it. Stole thousands and thousands of platinum. Got away clean, so they said.
Stole thousands of platinum.
That's what I said.
Got away, and they have
Well,
no leads?
that's not what the news sheet would talk about. But, I mean, they can't put the whole story, can they?
I suppose not.
There's a big bounty on someone's head.
Someone. Did they describe them?
Black coat. Wide hat. Sharp facial hair.
Okay. Let me double check something real quick. Minor illusion. She's gonna make a picture of Alexios. Did it look like this guy?
I don't know. Didn't say. Just had the description.
Does the visual she's conjuring of Alexios look like this guy?
Like, as described?
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Huh, that's weird. I'll keep my eyes out for this person. That is very terrible news.
It's no skin off my back. Was it my money that was stolen?
I suppose, but hey, big reward, right?
Oh, yeah. If you're interested, perhaps you could go talk to them down at City Hall. You're adventurers, right?
That's right, we are.
Last I saw on the news sheet, the reward for bringing in the culprit, or at least the one in charge, as they said, from what they saw from diviners, was over 1,200 platinum.
1,200. Wow. Okay.
Right, that's what I said. If I had this sort of skills, I wouldn't be working on the old Daryth gardening plots.
But I bet you do a magnificent job.
I'm good at what I do.
And you figured out what was wrong with the plants. I know it's
Well,
difficult to fix, but I bet you will fix it.
I don't have the cure. I just, I don't have the source. I just contend to what I see.
Well, we're going to try to find that source so the problem goes away.
I hope so. It's been really rough. The sulfur's not pleasant.
Have you noticed anybody else on the compound just acting different or unusual from how you normally see them?
Uh, Roll another persuasion.
I hope it's as good as the freaking last one. Oh, it was not. 13. Vicar Boone.
Okay.
Vicar Boone. Yes! 21. I think
21.
that's a 21 or a 22. I'm not sure. 22.
It's been tense lately. Everyone's been anxious. No one ever tells me nothing, but ever since we've had to close up the well, it's always been anxious, and there's been a lot more training. As if they're looking for a distraction, or maybe setting up for something big.
Have you noticed visitors coming to see the lords of the
Well, there's
estate?
always people stopping by, people to talk about
Specifically,
horses.
like nice ones, like special lords or things like that.
Other fancy folk, you mean?
Yeah, like other houses coming to talk to them.
It's been a couple, but not more than normal, I'd say.
Are there any you recognize?
Let me think for a minute, and I have to roll a
Of
history
course.
here. Sorry, I closed this doc page, and that was foolish. There was one that caught me as a little odd. Didn't know why he was here. Lord, the young Prince Velastro.
Mm-hmm.
He goes by Orem, from what I know.
I see. And that is weird.
Never seen him here before. That was the first. I'd know him anywhere. He smells of flowers all the time and puts lots of oils in his hair.
That's fancy people for you, right?
Well, more so than Meryl or Ogwyn.
Did he show up before or after the problem with the well started?
After, just a couple weeks ago.
Interesting. Well, we're definitely going to get to the bottom of this, Marigold, I promise.
Hope so. And be careful. It's slick going down there.
Believe it or not, I can fly.
Oh, frankly, I believe it. I've not seen quite so many fancy magic contraptions on any one person as I've seen on the six of you, so...
It does make our jobs a lot easier.
Marigold just kind of nods as she raises the
Sure, that
wooden
one.
lid over the well and then stands to the side and she says, "Doesn't smell super pleasant down there."
I imagine not. She'll peer down.
You have dark vision, right? You can see, like...
I have advanced dark
Right.
vision because of Muggos.
So you see clearly all the way down the well. The well itself, it looks more like an access hole. It's not like an actual well that's full up with water. You see down the well is an opening that reaches maybe about 40 feet down into the ground. And then you can see in the opening, there is some light. And and there is water running underneath the opening in the well. Likely, this is just the undertunnel's water supply, the aqueduct that runs into the city. You can just see it straight from above. There is a ladder along one side of the well that goes all the way down. And you see that they're like these iron rungs that are a little rusty, set into the side of the well. What do you do?
She looks at the party. Down we go.
Well, I guess, Tyr says as he begins putting on gloves.
Lorna just flies down.
Must be
Wings
nice.
out. It is.
Your party, so you fly down the well, and the rest of your party slowly but surely begins preparing themselves to climb down the well. And as you do, you get to the bottom of the well, and you see it as I've described. There are these long channels. There are these brickwork walkways that run along the sides of the channels, and you see that it's dimly lit down here. There are clearly these crystals that maybe they're constantly emitting dim light in all directions that are set into the walls. And you hear just running water coming from the direction that you assume is north, heading towards you. And the water is flowing pretty smoothly. And as you look down into the actual channel the water runs through, it's pretty deep. It's a lot of water moving here.
Well, everybody's down.
Yeah, one by one, everybody climbs down and gets onto the walkways by the sides of the water.
She kind of points back up to where Marigold was. So, I feel like the Daryths are involved.
Yeah? What makes you say that?
The fucking youngest Velastro paying them a fucking visit.
I would like to know what that's all about. Maybe visiting them might be a good second stop.
Maybe if they don't decide to gank us, but we should see about this blight first. Look around.
Okay. First and foremost, I need an investigation check.
Yeah, sure. $22.
Okay. $22.
She also has detect magic up. Why not?
Let's see. Investigation. First, you notice that it smells. It's coppery. You smell like old vegetation, which is not what you expected to smell. You did expect to smell mildew and mold and like wet stone and perhaps waste. Instead, what you smell is rotting vegetation and rust, like coppery rust. That the first thing your investigation tells you is it smells weird. The air down here is thicker and warmer than it should be. It's almost like humid, as if the water is warmer than it ought to be because you're deep.
Good ground for shit to grow.
Yeah, it's almost humid down here. As you look at the water, you see that there are faint, milky green swirls drifting through the surface. It almost looks like dissolved silk, like as if someone melted spiderweb in the water. It's only at where the water catches around stone's edges that you see them, but the swirls are definitely there.
Yeah, Lorna's gonna take out a glass vial and scoop some of that shit up with a mage hand.
Okay. With your investigation, you're looking at this. Roll me Arcana.
Okay. 24.
So you said you have detect magic up. They are shimmering faintly in your detect magic. Uh, it resembles traces of venom bonded with like a fungus. It with your arcana, that tells you it's likely the result of prolonged exposure to corrupted biology. Not conjured and not alchemical, but living, something alive is the source, you think. You can roll a medicine check.
I'd love to. Can she explain this to the party as she's kind of parsing it out?
Yep.
Ugh, terrible. It's a 7.
You don't know what the effects of the venom would be, but you imagine it would be strong.
Okay. And she's got that vial stopper.
Yeah.
Okay. She tucks that sample away for further research.
You do
Well, that
see there is a couple things still. Sorry, your investigation
no, go for it.
showed you a couple other things. You see there is a maintenance marker tucked into the side of the tunnel. It has Girano livery on it. You imagine this is likely from when Lucian was also investigating this.
Mhm.
It's clearly rotted away from the water that's a little more potent than water washing over it. You see there is, let's see, a toolbox is on the side of the walkway. It's hidden, but with your perfect sight in the dark, you do spot this old rusted toolbox that looks like it's got like ladles and what look like tongs in it, but they've been down here a long time. You don't know if that relates to this or if they've just were forgotten down here forever ago. You do also see a leather scrap. It's like snagged on the stonework near the water line. It takes you like 20 minutes to find all this stuff after you get the sample, but you do find what looks like a piece of a cloak.
Mhm.
It is too fine of leather to be like a common workman's kit.
Interesting. She gathers all of that up.
The toolbox as well.
I think she looks at the party. Should I take this? Is it suspect? It's been here a while. I can't tell how long.
Well, maybe we can't tell how long because of how weird the air is down here.
That's true.
It might not have
It looks
actually
like
been
it's
that
been down
long.
here long. That's true. Ah, shoves it in the bag.
Okay. You collect the toolbox.
So we found this weird residue in the water, like the captain said. But have we found any of the soil that
Tyr like
Lucian
looks in
described?
the water. He says, "We might have to get in there if we want to get anything off the bottom."
How deep does it look?
Uh, what was your investigation?
22.
15 feet deep.
Ugh, that's longer than a shovel.
Yeah, it is.
Hold on, wait, I might have something for this. Okay, well, this may or may not work. Lorna has, from her packed boon, a new cantrip called Mold Earth. You think she could like haul up something from the bottom layer and toss it onto the side where they can actually look at it without having to get in the water?
Mold Earth works on dirt.
Or stone.
Okay. So you're trying to describe what you're trying to do?
Just like look down and get that, the water's running over the bottom layer of something where things would presumably settle.
Uh huh.
She wants to take a cube of that layer and just Minecraft heave it out and then plop it on the ground next to them so they don't have to get in the
From
like
the
have to
stone earthwork at the bottom of the
yeah.
tunnel, you want to try and pull a piece of it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Yeah. Lorna is a princess first and foremost.
Roll me a spellcasting check.
Okay. 24.
With a 24, you like mold earth
She's
and
motivated.
you like carve like a dish-sized section off the bottom of the tunnel and lift it straight up.
Hmm.
As it comes out of the water, it's like wet, and there is clearly a layer of, well, it looks like soil on top of it as you set it down next to the tunnel. But as you look closer, your detect magic shows some of that soil has the same trace venom to it as the milky swirls in the water had.
Interesting. She will also collect a sample of the soil, specifically. Mage
Okay.
hand scoop it into a vial.
Yeah, it's like scooping mud into the vial, basically. Yeah. And it smells awful.
Awful. Uh-huh. Okay, well, this might just be Hydra shit
It smells
or
like
something
shit.
else. We need to talk to an alchemist of some sort to get the water sample and the soil sample looked at properly. Because believe it or not, I don't think the local law enforcement is doing their due diligence to see what's actually happening here.
Um, your party basically just kind of like nods along and agrees, and Lilith says, "Did we all have to come down here?"
It's emotional support for me, I guess.
Okay.
What if there's something dangerous down here?
You would scream, and we would jump down.
Yeah, but then what if I died before you could get here? What if Alexio showed up and ganked me? Do you think Alexios robbed the gold rod vault or golden rod vault?
Tierra just says, "Without a doubt,
We could turn him in for money.
we could try."
Oh shit, we shouldn't have kicked his corpse into that river. We could have been like, found him. And he died and didn't anything.
Well, so long as he is actually the one that did it, but it sounds
He's
like
definitely. I could ask
that's cool.
Alexios.
Oh, what? You on speaking terms with him and all the time now?
No, I haven't spoken to him since we killed him, but
Tierra
I could
looks at
just
him and
send him
says,
a
"Watch
message.
out! You might have competition in the shape of a hitman trying to kill your woman."
He seems like a nice guy, minus the problems that exist between us that really, it's business.
He's tried to kill you twice.
He didn't succeed 3 times technically because of that thing he was doing in Siren's Respite.
It's clear he has his hands in a lot of unlawful pies. I'm going to ask you to please be a little careful in who you fraternize with.
I'm not fraternizing with anybody. I was just going to ask if he did it.
Right. Okay. Sure.
Hold on. I need to think about something. Give me 1 second.
It would explain how he could afford all these copies of himself if he was...
That does make sense. Okay, let me count this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Great. Okay. Lorna's gonna.
What? What are you doing?
She holds up a finger. She casts sending to Alexios Mizinthios.
Okay.
Presumably on the plane of fire, unless one of his duplicates can receive ascending. Do you want to know what it says?
Yeah, I need to know what it says.
Yeah. Okay, I will read it, but I'll also send it to you for posterity's sake. It goes as follows. Hey, Alexios, long time no talk. Did you rob the Golden Rod Vault? If so, want to organize something to collect the bounty money and split.
Okay, hold
Like
on.
maybe we could kill him again and turn in his body, and then we'll get the reward money, and maybe we can like go halvesies on it. We're gonna kill him again anyways. I should have put his body in the bag of holding. What is fucking wrong with me?
Okay, you hear. I certainly did not, probably. That does not sound like something I would do. What did you have in mind?
Okay, give me. Lorna just like openly smiles and giggles. The party waits for her to get her shit together. What did you have in mind? Let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Perfect. Lorna sends another sending because spell slots.
Okay.
And it goes. Let me copy this so I send it to you. Well, since we're probably going to meet again and fight, if we kill you and turn your body in and get paid half and half. That's 6,000 gold pieces. It's 1,000 for each party member right there.
Okay.
I mean, that's the 5,000 we owe him right there. I just need to
Okay,
get him a winch.
Alexios replies. How dare you imply I would fail to kill you again in such a way that my body could be identified with a dead drop location afterwards?
Can you send that to me?
Okay.
I can read it myself. Oh, so he's implying for the reward. I get it now. Alexios. Oh my god, I'm running out of third levels.
Yeah.
It's fine, I'll take an arcane recovery after this. Fine. Okay, one second. You're like, I didn't foresee this happening.
Not at all.
have to parse this down a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how to put multiple ideas in so few words. All right, let me count this. Okay. My final third level spell slot goes as follows. This is so worth it. Find us. We'll talk dead drop when we meet. Consider that square for the 5k gold to buy your contract from Master, plus wish, of course.
Okay. I need you to roll a persuasion check.
Ooh. Just saved my Vicar rune for this. Oh no! Echo!
That's an
I
actual
rolled a
one.
natural one. Can I push it?
Yeah, I guess.
Will he kill me for the audacity? I literally can't do worse than a natural one.
Roll
But
it.
I could not succeed. I'm gonna roll it again. This is so worth it. Come on. Oh my god, I rolled another natural one! How is that possible? Can I bribe the DM with tacos?
You have a party with you, you know.
What does that mean? Can I get inspo?
Can you get inspo? You can get like enhanced ability and shit like that. Like,
Can I have an invincibility from Nore?
Nore just looks at you wryly.
Please enhance my ability.
Yeah, she'll cast enhanced ability for charisma on you.
So I'm gonna roll again.
You have one more roll, yeah, but you've pushed, so
I know. I can't. I'm not gonna say anything this time. Oh my god! That's a 2!
okay.
How is that possible? Wait, hold on. Let me plead my case here.
Okay.
Because if I rolled with advantage for the first two and I rolled 2 natural ones, but I pushed it, wouldn't the push also be at advantage?
Yes.
So I get to roll again. Right.
Yeah, I guess. Go ahead.
This
But
can't
this
be
is
any
it.
worse.
This
I
is
know,
the
I know,
roll.
I know. Please. Oh my god, just terrible. 13, it's better than natural fucking 1. But it's still not very good. You'd be like, the fucking audacity. But he was having such a good time with me. Oh my
Okay.
god.
As you send this to Alexios, you hear, I will think about it.
Oh, he doesn't like me anymore.
That's all he says.
Oh, man. That sucks. Okay. Well, I used a lot of magic just now, guys.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh, arcane recovery real quick. How did I Roll 2 1s, a 2, and a 4 in quick succession. That is a special kind of stupid. I'm looking for my arcane recovery. Come on, level 3, so I get a 3rd level.
Yeah.
Hooray. Okay. We should go back into town and see if we and
You're cutting out.
really, it's because I'm so upset about my shitty rolls. Is that
Yeah.
better?
That's better. Yeah. What'd you say?
I said, she turns to the party and says, let's go back into town to see if we can't find Skolna and an alchemist. But also, we should stop by the fireplace and see what's going on.
Any excuse to get out of this would be great.
Yeah, sorry I made you guys. I guess I could have did my sendings above ground.
Yeah. Coulda.
Sorry.
As you climb back up and fly back up out of the well, and you say your goodbyes to House Daryth.
Oh, before she says goodbye, if they're passing, presumably passing the heads of Daryth while they're training, um, Lorna would like to look at them and see if they're missing any leather patches on any of their clothing. She took that scrap that she found
Roll
down there.
investigation.
Wow, I'm getting fucking worse than my previous rolls. 19. Where were you when I needed you?
They are wearing cloaks. Their cloaks are not made of leather. You don't see, like, their boots are not the same color as the scrap that you found. The leather that they do wear, which is like underneath the armor of their legs, it's all intact. You don't see any sign of that piece coming from them.
Gotcha.
So,
all right, they'll leave.
as you depart the Daryth estate and begin heading your way back into town to look for the fireplace, that is where we will call tonight's session.
Oh man. I can't help but think I did something terribly wrong.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Thank you for playing with me tonight. I hope you had a good time. And to those of you who are at home or at work watching, hi, everybody. We love you
Hi,
all.
what did I do?
And I will see you all next time. Have a good night.